Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I want to talk about my least favorite books of the year. So this is going to be sort of a quick video because I don't want to spend a lot of time bashing books that other people might love, and I just kind of want to talk about these books were sort of my most disappointing reads of 2015. And it was just books that I really expected to enjoy and didn't at all. So I just kind of want to give you a couple reasons for them and just let you know what my 5 least favorite books were that I read in the year 2015. So these are in order going to my most disliked of the year. So we're going to start with the least disliked of the 5 and go up to the most disliked. And the first one that I want to talk about is Positively Beautiful by Wendy Mills. I just didn't have a good time with this book. It is YA contemporary, and it fell into way too many of the tropes that I don't like about YA contemporary set in high school. I thought that the best friend, the quirky best friend, was really over the top, and I didn't like that. And I didn't like how much romance this book fell into, especially when it didn't talk about romance at all on the flop, which is one of the reasons I was interested in it. This book was supposed to be about a mother-daughter relationship and was going to be really sad, I knew that going in, but it just didn't pan out the way that I wanted it to, which was really disappointing for me because I think that this book is beautiful to look at, but I just didn't enjoy reading it at all. And its only saving grace was the end of the book where the main character got to spend time with her mom, which is what I wanted the whole book to be, so it was just really disappointing. Next up, we've got The True Adventures of Niccolo Zen by Nicholas Christopher. This is another book that I had built up in my head and then did not enjoy at all. So the reason I originally picked this book up is because it was on sale on a day I was at the store and it took place in Venice. And I was really all about books set in Italy or Paris or anywhere that I was going to be traveling over the last semester. So I got this, but it wound up coming off so young. Like, middle grade can sound young, but in a way that still works. There's a middle grade book on my favorite books of the year list. But this one came off as sounding like, and then this, and then this, and then this. Even using those words over and over again, just every sentence started with, and then I did, and then I went. And it was really frustrating because it didn't let the story flow, and it made the character seem even younger than he already was. There was also a weird gendered thing going on in this book where the lead character had to dress up like a girl. I was being really dishonest with one of his friends, and then, like, nothing was ever done about that. The fact that he was incredibly dishonest instead, you know, it worked out really well in his favor, but I just had a lot of issues with this book, and I was really sad about not enjoying it since it was set in Venice, but this was another one of those books that I don't think I'm going to be keeping this for very long. The next one I want to talk about is one from the beginning of the year, and that is The Dinner by Herman Koch. So, I got this book really based on cover alone. This edition doesn't show it, but when I bought the book, it also said, like, the European Gone Girl at the top, and I was swayed. I was like, oh, I love Gone Girl, European Gone Girl, that sounds fantastic. And it just, ugh. So this book is supposed to take place all over the course of one evening at a restaurant, and there's like these two sets of parents and their sons have gotten involved in something and then like secrets come out. And my biggest problem with this book is that, like, I read the whole thing, I put it down for a while, I reread some bits, and I still feel like I don't fully understand what happened in this book. I feel like it was way too padded to make the book last an evening. It's like a 2-hour dinner, and yet it's a decently sized book, and I just feel like it was really too padded out, it didn't make sense, and one of my favorite things about Gone Girl was how much detail was put in and how intricate the mystery of it was, and this just did not achieve that, and it was a real disappointment for me. The second to last book I want to talk about is Unspeakable by Abby Rushton. This one was really disappointing because it was one of my most anticipated queer books of the year. When I did my LGBT TBR in June, this was at the top. I was so excited to read it, and then I felt like it was just a huge letdown. I didn't really like any of the characters. I had a really hard time believing some of the character development. It just felt really inauthentic, and I had I had a real problem with it. Also, considering this is a queer book and that's how it was marketed, it took a very long time for that storyline to get started, and that was probably my favorite part about this book, but it took until the end for it to happen, and I felt like the build up to that point didn't equal out how much I hadn't liked the build up. Also, the love interest Jasmine, I didn't like her at all. I didn't think she was nice to Megan. I didn't think she really, I don't know, I just didn't like her at all, and that made me even less invested in getting to the love story, so this was just unfortunately a big miss for me. And the final book that I was really disappointed in this year was Heartburn by Nora Ephron. I love Nora Ephron's writing when she's writing movies. She has written some of my favorite romantic comedies of all time. I think she's so funny, and I love those movies, and so I thought I would probably love this too. This is a semi-autobiographical novel talking about her divorce, and it was supposed to be funny, and it did not come off as funny. It was so boring, and I hated every person in this book. Like, actively disliked them, including the main character. The way that she treated her husband and the way she treated herself and her friends, I didn't like it. I didn't like how any of the characters were. I had a real problem with this book, and I read it during a readathon, and it took me way too long to get through it because I was just so actively unhappy reading it. So there you go, those were my top 5 least favorite books this year. For the most part, I had a pretty good reading year. There were just some ones that I had really built up in my head and wound up being, unfortunately, very disappointing. So if you liked any of these books, it is nothing against you. I'm sure that you found something in them that I just couldn't get out of it, and that's fine with me. If you want to tell me what you loved about these books in the comments, I'd love to hear your perspective about it. Just let me know, because I am in no way saying that people who liked these books are wrong. But I do want to say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!